Welcome, everyone. I'm Dick Deming, Medical Director of Mercy One Cancer Center and the founder of Above and Beyond Cancer. Welcome to our weekly cancer education series. It's brought to you in part by a grant from the Iowa Oncology Society. And you are in for a treat this evening, and so am I, because our guest is Jana West, a musician, singer-songwriter, author, and cancer survivor.
That's right.
Welcome, Jana.
Thank you, Dr. Deming. It's a pleasure to be here.
I have been looking forward to this, and we're going to have a little bit of everything, including some music. But let's learn a little bit about you. So, where are you from originally? Where were you born?
I was born in Fort Worth, Texas. I was born on the day my father graduated from seminary. He was a minister, and I was born while he was out celebrating at Six Flags over Texas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what type of seminary did he graduate from?
Southern Baptist.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
And where did your dad grow up?
He grew up in Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're born in Fort Worth,
Yes.
and then where did you live during formative grade school and high school years?
So we moved to Ankeny when I was in second grade.
Okay.
Graduated from Ankeny High School.
Okay. And so did you move to Ankeny because your dad was a pastor of a church there?
He took a break from pastoring during that time. He actually worked for the Iowa Area Crime Commission for a chunk of time.
Okay.
I like to say, he was a pastor and then a drug dealer because he sold pharmaceuticals for a while.
Oh, okay.
And then he worked for the Crime Commission, and then he went back to pastoring.
Okay. So kind of, did
Colorful
the whole
guy.
saint and sinner
Very colorful man.
broad tour. So you went to Ankeny High School back in the days when Ankeny was just one high school.
Yes.
How many in your high school class?
I
when
don't
you
know for
graduated?
sure, but I think it was around 300.
300.
Yeah.
And what was your claim to fame at Ankeny High?
Whew. I think I might have gotten the most in school suspensions.
Most suspensions. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to distinguish yourself in some way.
The pastor's kid who can't quit
Right.
smoking in the bathroom and that kind of thing.
Okay. Were you involved in music or sports or any social?
No, I wasn't involved because I was a bit of a klutz. And we lived outside of town, and my parents were busy and both worked, and they didn't want to transport me to things, musical things and stuff like that. So I never did get involved with the sports or the music at Ankeny High School.
When did music become an important part of your life?
Boy, I remember as a little girl when my parents bought me my first turntable, and I would get the 45s, and I would put on Marie Osmond or, Glenn Campbell, and I would take my tennis racket and jump around on my bed while I listened to, and then, we went to church 3 days a week, or 3 times a week. And so there was very much music
And
there.
did you sing in church?
Eventually, yes, I did. I had a little bit of stage fright that I had to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I joined the choir eventually as a young adult. And
did you take music lessons as a kid? Did you take piano?
I took piano.
Did you play an instrument in the band?
Yeah. So Fran Cowan was my piano teacher. A lot of people in the Des Moines area know Fran. She was a well-known piano teacher. Her husband Marlo had a whole thing on video at Mayo Clinic. He would go and play the piano. He was a fantastic piano player, well known in the area. So I took lessons from her.
Okay.
For 4 years. And I told my Mom, I just really want to play the guitar. I don't really want to play piano.
And what about the band at school?
Nope, I wasn't.
No. And then when did you get your first guitar?
So I think I was 18. I quit piano lessons after about 4 or 5 years, and I just wanted to play guitar. And I told my mom that, and she said, well, you don't really play guitar at church, and I want you to be a pianist for the church. And so she didn't really support the guitar thing. So when I was 18, I bought my first guitar, and I fell instantly in love.
What was the very first song you learned how to play?
Boy, I was always writing songs.
Oh,
I was
really?
always,
So it wasn't like
I heard things in my head and I would
Puff
try
the
to figure
Magic
out.
Dragon.
I really
or-
wasn't. I was more of a songwriter. I
Okay.
wasn't really learning other people's music.
Do you remember the very first song you wrote?
No,
No.
there's hundreds of
Hundreds.
songs that I've forgotten, written
Yeah.
and forgotten.
Right, right.
Yeah.
When did you start to perform for other people? And did you ever get to play the guitar in church?
Oh yeah, I eventually did.
Okay.
So I met my husband when I auditioned for a cover band. He was in a popular cover band back in the 80s. And the first time I auditioned for a band that he was in was when I was 17, and they sent me home because I wasn't old enough to play in the bars. And then a few years later, I was recording some of my original music in a local studio, and I said, I'd really like to be in a band. Do you know anybody who's looking for a female singer? And he set me up with an audition. And I walked into the room, and here's Tim. I recognized him from the failed audition a few years ago. And I was a little embarrassed, but I did the audition, and they took a vote, and there was 3 yeses and 1 no. Can you guess who the no was?
Well, I think it was probably Tim.
Yeah.
And now he's your husband.
Yeah. So
Okay. And what was the name of the band that you had?
that band, I believe, was West Wind. Was the
Okay.
name of the band.
And then
Mhm.
what was your big number with West Wind? I know it's a cover band, but you were the female vocalist and you played guitar.
Yeah. So we played in that band. It was a church band. He had gone through a divorce, played in the bars for many years. He started playing professionally when he was 15. Now he's 27. Played in the bars for a lot of years. And there's, what happens sometimes in bars,
Mm.
they wreck marriages and stuff. So he was disavowed playing in the bars and joined a Christian band. And I was a pastor's daughter.
Okay.
So this was a Christian band. I'm trying to think of some of the music that we did. Amy Grant, for instance, was one of my favorite songs that we did.
It's kind of the contemporary Christian rock or
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we did the church thing for a while. He was a paid music minister for a number of years, and then I kind of got burnt out on that and didn't play music for a couple of years. And eventually, we started a cover band back in, I think it was like 2009. And we've been playing in cover bands together ever since.
And this is more cover bands, not in church, but
in bars.
In bars. Okay, so back to the bars. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to kind of an idea, but what would be like today one of your favorite songs to do in a cover band?
I love Pat Benatar. Pat Benatar was my heartthrob, and I love singing her songs.
Yeah. So
Treat Me Right is one of my favorites.
Hit me with your
best shot. Although she doesn't perform that anymore. Did you know that?
No.
She thinks it's violent.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I sang that song hundreds of
Yeah.
times. Yeah, in bars. Yeah.
And so somewhere along the line, your life intersected with cancer.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about where you were the day you first heard the words, "You have cancer."
It was the day after Christmas, 2023. We had just gotten home. My husband had a medical procedure in the morning, and we had just gotten home. My phone rang. I picked it up, and that's when my doctor told me that I had breast cancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was your breast cancer discovered because of a screening mammogram or because you felt an abnormality?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm told that breast cancer at the stage I had it, which was stage 1, doesn't present with abnormality. You don't usually feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a sense like something was off. And I had put off any medical stuff for a while because I was taking care of my mom who was dying. And I just put everything on hold, and it had been a while since I'd had a mammogram. And so I felt like something was off, and I went in and had the mammogram, and that's when they found it.
And so from mammogram to a biopsy.
Yes.
Then probably a conversation about the next steps in terms of surgery. And do you remember all of these conversations clearly? Were you in a fog? How did you respond to the phone call? And what was the rest of that evening like with your husband, who was recovering from a medical procedure himself?
Yeah. It. I don't really remember the specifics, although I remember being in shock. It'd been a traumatic year already, and my mom had just passed 4 months prior, and it was just like one more thing, and I was just a little bit numb, probably. But we made appointments very quickly, went to a number of appointments, talked to a number of different doctors, and started to sort it all out.
And then your medical journey with breast cancer was lumpectomy,
Yeah,
and radiation,
yeah.
and maybe some medicine as well.
Well, here's a twist that I think people might be interested in. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, had colon cancer and died. My father had lymphoma, and then prostate cancer, and then bone cancer. After 17 years, he died. My mother had breast cancer and uterine cancer. Although she was a 20-year breast cancer survivor, the surgery to remove her uterus was kind of the end for her. She never recovered. And so I had seen all that firsthand. I'd gone to appointments, walked, mostly with my father. When my mom was going through breast cancer, I was in the middle of a career and little kids, and I was just kind of detached. But later, when my dad was advanced in his treatments, he had asked me to go to his appointments with him because he was having trouble remembering. So I was very involved in the last year of his life, and very involved in the last 5 years of my mom's life. And I saw some things that made me afraid. Yeah. And so I got the recommendations. I went to the appointments. I made a plan to have surgery. I was just checking things off. I went to bed that night, and I woke up at maybe 2:00 in the morning and just sat straight up in bed and said, "Hold everything. I need to pause and think this through and make sure that I know all of my options. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I want to educate myself." And I called the next day to my surgeon and said, "Cancel. I need some time." And then I called you. And I'm so glad I did.
And that taking pause, how do you, what part of the due diligence or the contemplation of treatment options do you think you were thinking most about? Was it the difficulty that your parents had and the understanding that treatments have risks? They're not just all benefits.
Yeah.
And that with early stage breast cancer, there is time to stop and think and pause and decide what to do. And
Yeah. So what was your question?
so I don't remember our very first conversation on the phone. And so
Yeah,
what did I say to you?
Well, I would like to tell you about that because I called. First of all, I talked to my primary care and I said, "I'm really curious about this integrative oncology that I've been reading about. I would really like to see if I can find somebody." And she wasn't really thrilled because I already had a plan. I was already boom, 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 walking through this plan, and I'd been very wishy-washy and looking back, I can understand why she was like, "Oh my goodness, here we go again." I have trouble trusting people, authority figures especially, and doctors in my mind were these, authority figures. So I had trouble trusting, and so I went back to her, and she was not supportive of me delaying and changing things again. So I got on Google, integrative oncology near me, and your place came up, and I called right away, and I explained Brindley answered the phone. She's wonderful, by the way.
She is, yes.
Everybody there is wonderful. From the very first phone call, everybody was just gentle. Nobody was in a hurry. Everybody was kind and thoughtful. And she's like, sure, we can totally work you in. You know, I was in a hurry because I had a plan. I said, I just want a second opinion. And she made the appointment and I got in. I walked in. I was like, whoa, this place is different.
Gotcha. So we didn't talk on the phone
No.
before I met you in person.
Right.
Okay, I misunderstood. I was trying to remember
Yeah.
the phone conversation I had, whether
No,
I just picked up the phone and it was you. And
No, no, I'm sorry if I implied that. But the whole
Right,
experience was
gotcha.
different.
Yes.
It was softer, the lighting, the decorations. People spoke to me. They looked me in the eye and spoke to me kindly and patiently. There was no tons of people and everybody kind of zombies. I mean, it was just really a different experience. Your nurse was lovely and kind and thoughtful. And then you came in and you were the same, just very lovely, very kind, interested in my story, patient. You weren't in a hurry. And you told me pretty much the same thing everybody else did. Your advice wasn't different.
Right.
You said, this is what you have. This is the standard approach to that. I don't disagree. And I said, okay, well, thank you. And then you said, have you considered, I have this list of all these other things you could also do. And that's where things kind of started to shift.
Right. And so at our, the term integrative oncology, for those who don't know, is a little, can mean different things at different centers. And some people think that the expectation of integrative oncology is that we're going to treat cancer differently. And I would say what we mean by integrative oncology is we're going to treat cancer patients differently, but we still follow the standard guidelines for how to treat the cancer, but we bring into the cancer center all sorts of healing services that don't kill cancer cells, but definitely are part of the healing process to go with the standard cancer treatment.
Yeah. And that made a big difference for me. Yeah.
And I think I remember distinctly, because I usually start kind of like we did this evening. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to high school? What's your claim to fame? And discerned quite quickly that you were a singer-songwriter and playing in a band. And so that I'm thinking, okay, this is a creative person. This is most people who, lead with singer-songwriter, band performer. I'm thinking as an independent, really creative person, and maybe doesn't have think of things just step by step by step in a super logical, and want to explore all of the dimensions of what it means to have cancer.
That was definitely what I wanted to do. I wanted to just understand.
And to what extent has your cancer journey affected your music?
Well, music's been a steadfast companion. I don't know that it's affected my music. I've written songs about the experience, but that's been the way I've lived my life.
And that's not unusual. That's something that affects you in a way, whether it is maybe your parents' death or a relationship or a new bicycle, or things that you might write songs about.
Yeah.
And,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I was wondering, maybe before we talk anymore, you prepared to sing a song, maybe one of the songs that came out of your interaction of your cancer and music.
I would love to. So I play in a cover band. I don't really perform my original music very often. Sorry, my beads are in the way. And so I dusted this little ditty off. See how it goes. La 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 la. it that we want to be heard? Is anyone listening? What is it that we need to be believed? What is it that we want to be loved? To know that someone loves me. What is it that we need to be tenderly held yet free? We're a little homesick for someplace we just can't seem to find. Longing for a home we never had, or maybe one we left behind. What is it that we want? We want to be seen. Do you see me? What is it that we need to have no real reason to hide? We're a little homesick for someplace we just can't seem to find. Longing for a home we've never had, or maybe one we left behind. Ooh, la 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 la, la 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 la. What is it that we're longing for? La la la, la 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 la. What is it that I want? I want to belong to someone, somewhere. What is it that I need? I need to be true, through and through, yeah. What is it that I need to carry home deep inside of me? What is it that I want? I want you. We're a little homesick for someplace we just can't seem to find. Longing for a home we've never had, or maybe one we left behind. Ooh, la 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 la, la 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 la. Take my hand and walk with me. La 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 la. In my embrace, yet always free to roam. La 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 la, and always welcome home.
Beautiful. So you asked several times, what is it you want? Has your answer to that question changed at all with your cancer journey?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I would say that first I need a drink. I think my cancer experience brought about metamorphosis. Like it was an opportunity for me, maybe the first time I ever believed that I had permission to be selfish and just do exactly what I needed to do to take care of myself. And that was really powerful. And I had to trust people, which I'm historically very bad about. and that was really transformative too. And I got to spend a lot of time quietly considering my life. In fact, I felt compelled to just start writing down everything I could remember about my life, because I kind of felt like I'd lived 59 years and without giving my life my full attention. It was just like a pinball, just bouncing from one thing to another thing to another thing. And cancer was like,
Right.
somebody
It's like
unplugged the machine, the
it's
game.
like 2x4 up the side of your head. It's
And-
hey, wake up.
I had a chance to recalibrate, maybe for the first time ever. And it was very powerful.
So cancer can be a teacher.
Mhm.
And so obviously you're still learning what cancer means, but your creative side, obviously you've written several songs about it, and you've written a book that is soon to be released, which we're going to dive into a little bit.
Wonderful.
Curlers, Church, and Whales is the name of the book. So wouldn't naturally think that that's about cancer. So tell us how you came up with that title.
The subtitle is Making Sense of Life Through the Eyes of Cancer. One of the things that I ended up doing after my radiation treatments was I traveled to Portland, Oregon, to meet with Dr. Edward Neal, who's a MD and also a Master of Science in Oriental Medicine. He practices classic Chinese medicine. And he said, we started meeting online before we traveled. And he said, one of the things I'd really like you to start learning to do is to communicate with your body. Start learning to communicate, listen. And the body doesn't speak English, so you're going to have to pay attention in different ways than you're used to. The body uses symbols, dreams, art, music. And I'm like, oh, I know how to do those things. And so I started drawing and writing. And the other thing he said to me was, he asked me to consider thinking of cancer differently. Instead of thinking of it as my enemy, he said, cancer cells they're part of you. It's like kids lost at the mall. And so they're confused, they're disoriented, they're not acting normally. And so I starting to try to understand what had happened in my life that caused my cells to be,
Lost at the mall.
Lost at the mall. I tried to understand my story, and in my baby book, my mom wrote a quote. Jana, age 5. I am allergic to curlers in my hair, church, and whales.
So she was quoting you at age 5 in your baby book that you had said you were allergic to curlers, church, and whales.
Yeah. Okay. And I thought that would be a fun way to kind of explore. At 5 years old, I probably heard about allergies and knew they made people miserable. And so I was trying to explore, potential stress inducing events in my life.
Yeah.
And I thought that'd be a kind of a fun
Definitely
way.
Can understand curlers. Definitely can understand church. Where the whales come in. Do you have a bad experience?
Well, so I knew about 2 whales.
Okay.
One was
a killer whale, maybe.
One was in the Bible who swallowed a guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and if God hadn't intervened, then the poor guy would. Okay. And then I think I might have seen a commercial for the movie Moby Dick.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe just a few seconds of it.
Okay.
And so I thought whales were monsters.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me go back just a little bit. So by the time you're meeting with this physician, his name again?
Dr. Edward Neal.
So with Dr. Neal, you'd already had lumpectomy and you'd had radiation. And so he's asking you to think about your relationship with your body. Before you met with him, what would you say was the metaphor that you might have used to describe your cancer journey or cancer at that point? And
I thought it was my enemy.
It was your enemy.
I saw it as
and you were in a fight or a war or a battle.
I thought it was going to take me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as you had surgery and healed from that, and as you laid on the table and you got radiation, what was your relationship with your body as you were having surgery and radiation? Did
Yeah.
you have any metaphors, or
Okay. Yeah.
did you think, was the radiation a healing thing, or was it like a trauma?
Yeah, those are really good questions. So I actually got the opportunity to start meeting with Dr. Neal several weeks before my surgery online.
Oh, before. Okay.
He's a teacher now
Gotcha.
at the Deming Institute of Apricot Grove in Portland, Oregon, and he teaches people all over the world. And the students meet, and they started working with me online. And so I had that. And one of the things, I was terrified to have surgery.
Because you had put it off. You had canceled. You had a date with surgery.
I wasn't sure I was going to do cancer treatments at all.
Right. So
I don't trust people.
So when you were reaching out to him, you were still kind of wondering, and not so much maybe integrative oncology. You were thinking maybe of alternative.
Yes, I was thinking about going to Mexico. I was going to. There's a place in Arizona that I talked. But Dr. Neal was the first one that didn't diss my medical team. He was like, "No, you need them. They have given you good advice, but you also could benefit from."
It's both and, not either or.
Yeah. So he advised me to think of my surgery as if it was a portal of transformation. And everybody that was going to be there working with me that day were people that were there to help me with my transformation. And that proved to be very helpful, because the day of my surgery, they put guide wires. I had both breasts were being operated on. I went in for these guide wires to be placed in my breast, which is a terrifying thought. And something had happened to their computer system. And I was stuck in that little waiting room for an hour.
With wires coming out of it.
Well, I was waiting to get the wires.
Oh, you're waiting to get it.
So I had my mammogram, and then I was undressed in this little thing, sitting on a hard bench in a closet. I have closet issues, okay? And I also have trust issues, and I'm terrified of this whole thing. And I'm sitting there for an hour.
Oh.
And thankfully, I had already started some integrative things that were helping me with mindfulness. I'd taken a mind-body class with Sherilyn Rickers at Time to Thrive Des Moines, and she was helping me with some of that stuff, because had I not had that stuff going for me before that experience, I was the angry.
Yeah, you would have left.
I was getting ready to.
You might have gotten in a
leave.
car.
I was like, "This is crazy. I shouldn't be doing this." And thankfully, I had Dr. Neal's counsel. I had some of these integrative things that I was also doing. So I started doing deep breathing. I did a body scan. I started praying for the people that were there to help me. It completely transformed the whole day for me, because I was there for an hour in that little closet.
And then as you wake up from anesthesia and go through the next few days or weeks of recovery, you had used the word earlier this evening, metamorphosis. What were you before the metamorphosis, and what were you afterwards? I mean, I think of caterpillars and butterflies, but maybe you're thinking of different things.
Think about a caterpillar. They're out there scooting along, eating. My relationship with my body before cancer was not a healthy one. I thought my body was my enemy. I quite literally thought it was my enemy. And because of this experience that I went through, it's like, no, that's not it at all. My body's my closest ally. I see that now.
Okay.
And it's made a huge difference in the way I live, the way I interact with people, the way I sing, the way I perform.
And you're also an athlete, and I gather from your story that you were not an athlete in high school, and that wasn't something that you pursued. And then when did you develop this relationship with your body that you now enjoy challenging yourself to do physical things that you could take a pass on and just eat a bonbon and have a nap, but instead you get on a gravel bike and get out there and do it?
Yeah, at some point, somebody told me, and I think it was really good advice, that if you're afraid of something, it's in your best interest to do it, especially if you're afraid of it. And I never thought of myself as a capable physical. When I was in elementary school, phys ed was like a terror for me. I was the kid that couldn't jump rope. I was at the back of the room, and when they picked teams, I was always picked last or second to last with the other kid that couldn't jump rope. So I never thought of myself as an athlete. And to hear you say that is kind of funny. But gradually, my husband's very athletic, and he's encouraged me over the years, and now I really enjoy it.
Where can we find your book? Is it ready to be released, and is it ready to be purchased by? Or are we not quite ready to do the release?
I published it this week. It's actually on YouTube as an audiobook.
As an audiobook, okay.
My concern was that I kept meeting people that were going through a similar experience, and I wanted to share some of the things I'd learned through the process. There's quite a bit in there about my cancer journey, and I wanted to have something I could give to them. And I got impatient, so my husband is an audio engineer, so we recorded an audiobook and put it on YouTube.
Released it?
It's out there.
And so how does one find it?
So Jana West Music on YouTube, that's my channel.
So just go to YouTube and then just go to Jana West Music and your channel will come up. Yep. And is it like a chapter at a time, or?
Yeah, there's 6 sections. They're about 30 minutes each.
Okay.
Each section has several chapters and one of my original songs.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Can we have another song?
Sure. So I like to tell stories with my songs. And one of my favorite storytellers from the classic rock era is Bob Seger.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like yesterday, but it was long ago. Janie was lovely, she was the queen of my nights. There in the darkness with the radio playing low, and secrets that we shared, mountains that we moved, caught like a wildfire out of control, till there was nothing left to burn and nothing left to prove. Well, I remember what she said to me, how she swore that it never would end. I remember how she held me oh so tight. Wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. Against the wind, we were running against the wind. We were young, we were strong, we were running against the wind. Ooh, yeah. The years go slowly past on, and I found myself alone, surrounded by strangers I thought were my friends. Found myself further and further from my home, and I think I lost my way. Well, there were so many wrongs, living to run and running to live, never worried about pain or even how much I owe. Moving 8 miles a minute for months at a time, breaking all of the rules that we bend. Can't I find myself searching for shelter again and again against the wind. I'm still running against the wind. Found myself seeking shelter against the wind. days they're past me now. I got so much more to think about. Deadlines and commitments, what to leave in and what to leave out. Against the wind, still running against the wind. I'm older now, but still running against the wind. Yeah, I'm older now, but still running against the wind.
Well, if you come to my spin class, you'll hear some Bob Seger. Yes, yes, I love it. That is great. So you are. When did you finish your radiation? In 2024.
April 24.
So it's been about a year and a half. I would imagine that you're still learning what cancer has to teach you.
Yeah.
And so you've got the book. We're looking forward to listening to that. I imagine that there will be some epilogues that might come out of your experience.
Yeah, I really want to explore the artwork that I did during that season. There's some pretty phenomenal things that we can learn about ourselves through art, and I'm sure I'll continue to write music about it too.
Mm-hmm. Did you, growing up, did you ever have a diary? Did you ever journal?
I did have a diary.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what happened to it. That's a scary thought.
But you were writing in a diary maybe as a tweener or a teenager,
Yeah.
And then did that carry on into your adult life?
No, but I definitely have developed journaling. I have maybe a 15-year gap between when I got married and when I started actually journaling, but I have a stack of journals. Yeah. And
when you are looking for something to write a song, do you have like a notebook, something where you keep ideas and snippets, and how do those come to you, and how do they get down on paper?
I've tried that. I've tried that. I've heard a lot of writers do it that way. My songs usually present themselves as a somatic experience first. It's like this yearning, and then I'll grab my guitar, and usually the music and the lyrics come all at once, all together.
Wow.
And when I get an idea, it was really hard. I used to work full time. I don't do that anymore. But when I worked full time and I couldn't just pick up my guitar and write down and start playing a song when it was presenting itself, was kind of traumatic for me, because they really bother me until I get it out. And then I can move on with my
So now we all walk around with tape recorders in our pockets. Yeah. I mean, do you pull out your phone and just record something?
Thank goodness.
A snippet comes to you and you want to just...
It's pretty rare.
Okay.
But I definitely use the phone, use my video camera to record a song idea that's coming to me. If I don't have time to sit down and really work it out, that's been very helpful. Because like I said, I've written so many songs that I have lost track of because I don't have I didn't have that capability 30 years ago or 40 years ago.
What are some of your goals? Short term, long term? What's in your future?
I like the idea of continuing to develop my craft in such a way that I make the world a little bit better place to be. We play in the bars and at events and community events and that kind of thing. And the way I look at that is that music is it's therapy for me. And I believe it's therapy for people that come and listen. And so it's like whether I'm singing and playing or listening to someone, it's like group therapy. It's we get to dance, we get to listen, we get to respond. And in bars, people are a little more willing to let their hair down.
Right.
It's very therapeutic.
And there's lots of research on the therapeutic benefits of music. I mean,
Yeah.
there's the benefit of just listening and the rhythm and then the movement with music. And actually, the National Cancer Institute is doing research, especially as it relates, a little bit of research related to cancer, but more on neurologic disorders and the role that music, both listening and performing, can interact with the brain in positive ways for some neurologic disorders. So.
Did you see that series that was out there where the guy took the little iPods to nursing homes where people were nonverbal
No.
and found out from their families the kind of music they
Mhm.
liked and put that on and gave them headphones and people came out of it.
Yeah.
People who hadn't
Yeah.
spoken, they came out of that because of the music.
Lots of power there.
I agree.
Let's open up to questions. We've got about 15 minutes left, and then we're going to save the last 5 minutes to go out with another song. So you'd be thinking about that. So we'll do 10 minutes of Q&A. Poon, you get to go first.
You said you wrote a lot during your journey. Did you perform during your cancer journey?
I did. Yes. So I'm sorry. We took a break during COVID because in 2020, both my mother and our daughter were diagnosed with cancer. And so I took 18 months of bookings. I was playing in 2 different bands at that time, canceled everything for 18 months. And then came back to it. But right when we were coming back to it was when I got diagnosed. And we had events booked. And some of them were ticketed events. And I was very, very pleased that I was physically still able to sing and perform. Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, the 80s girl here, Pat Benatar,
Yes.
Journey, all that. I wanted those songs in my wedding, but the DJ said not appropriate. Hit me with your best shot. And I said, so love is a battlefield out of the question. And no, but interesting enough, my best friend won the big prize at the shower because she goes, the question was, what's your favorite song or what's her favorite song? And she already knew. And she goes, yeah, she played it all the time in the car.
That's awesome.
And I said, yeah, that's true. But I get where you're coming from. I mean, I grew up in musicals too. And I did take advantage of the music therapy that was provided from above and beyond and wrote some songs because I come from a musical family. I don't have the vocals, but it had the lyrical part too. And so when you found yourself writing songs, do you picture it like poems or you picture it lyrics? Do you start it off with one or the other? I'm just curious.
Usually it just almost pours out. If I try to write a song, it usually doesn't work for me. It's either there or it's not. I have done where I've written a whole song and then went back and tried to make it more poetic, and that can work. But the structure has to be finished for me to feel like I've completed the process. So.
Well, I didn't hear what the name of your band was.
So in 2019, we were playing in a band called Abby Normal, was one of the cover bands. Retrospect is another cover band that was going at that time, and that's one we've brought back. So that's the band I'm playing with right now, Retrospect. Yeah. My husband, Tim, plays bass guitar.
And where can we see you performing in Retrospect?
Yeah, this weekend we're playing at Shirley's in West Des Moines. The following weekend we're at Down Under on Hickman. We're playing New Year's Eve at Sherwood Forest Event Center. Those are a few things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And so are you exclusively a bar band now, or do you go back to church every once in a while?
No, I no longer attend church.
Is Dad still a pastor?
Dad passed away in 2017.
That's right. You told
yeah.
me that. Yes.
Yeah. After 17 years of battling cancer, he finally.
And so when was he a pastor as his last profession?
He was. Yeah.
And did you go to hear him preach?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were going to church.
If I lived under his roof, I was required to attend.
Okay. what did you learn from your dad about,
Hmm.
or learn from him, or because of him? What did you learn yourself about your relationship with God?
Ooh, do you have a couple hours? Or?
We've got at least 30 seconds for you to answer. No, like over your life. I mean, I'm just thinking my life. I was raised Catholic, and boy, when I was, probably 10, 11, I loved memorizing and regurgitating the catechism, and it
Sure.
was just like learning all of those things. And I loved the rules, and I loved a little bit of terrified of hell and the concept of eternity of flame and burning and just, but that was a concept. So then, of course, going to college, it was like, oh, that's just, those are just myths, and sort of kind of went the opposite way. And as I've had a chance to explore and learn about many different religions, I'm fascinated by the common themes that run with religions, and that, I think we are what we are because of where we live at the time that we're kids and where our parents take us to church, but that I contemplate now more of a global understanding of spirituality. So I just share that with you but I'm just curious, growing up as a pastor's daughter, there must have been a time where you're obeying all the rules of the family and obeying the rules of the church. And then there comes a time of teenage years and early where you're supposed to rebel and question.
That's a very natural human
But now
thing to
you
do.
have indicated you're in the 50s, so
I'm 60.
You're 60.
Mhm.
So there's a chance to kind of now have some wisdom perspective to all the different experiences.
The thing that my dad taught me, I think the most valuable thing that my dad taught me was that Jesus loved the underdogs. Those were the people he hung out with. That was my father to a T.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's pretty pure spirituality as far as I'm concerned.
So helping those who need help.
Yeah.
Is
people
is
that didn't
part,
have
it
the
isn't
same
just the
advantages.
glorification of a deity. It is religion in action in the world among.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Dad, for that. And thank you for that question.
We have another question, and we're going to have one more song. One more question. Is there a question? You're going to take us out with a song. Do you want to lead us into it and tell us what to expect here?
Well, let's see. My mind always goes blank when people try to get me to do karaoke too. It's like, I don't know what I should play. Diamond girl, you sure do shine. Glad I found you. Glad you're mine. Oh, my love, like a precious stone, part of earth, the heaven is rained on. Makes no difference where you are, day or night time. Oh, you're like a shining star. Oh, diamond girl, now that I found you, it's about you that I am. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I kind of feel like cancer helped me to see my body like the diamond girl. Diamond girl, roaming wild, such a rare thing, radiant child. Well, I can never find another one like you. Part of me is deep down inside you. Can't you feel the whole world's turning? We are real, baby, we are burning. Oh, how could I shine without you? It's about you that I am. Whoa, 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 whoa.
All right. Jana West, Diamond Girl. Singer, songwriter, musician, author. Her memoir is called Curler's Church in Wales, and you can get it at the YouTube channel, Jana West Music.
That's right.
Both the book and your music.
Yeah.
Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for inviting me, Dr. Deming.
This was a lot of fun. If you're watching us right now and you know someone that would enjoy this program, it will be available on demand beginning tomorrow at the Above and Beyond Cancer YouTube channel and also at the Mercy One Cancer Center website. I hope you'll join us again next week. Thanks, everyone.